on today's show, we have a brand new artist to introduce to our viewers and our listeners. So excited to have Anya Lee with us. Anya, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So we got on your Instagram and went back a little bit and looked at this chocolate strawberry concoction that you saw on TikTok that you made. It looked interesting. Where did that come from? I know you said TikTok, but was it good?
I went down the rabbit hole at some point. I was probably recovering from a surgery or, a migraine or something, and went down the rabbit hole. And if it's the one I'm thinking of, I did all the little steps and I set it like it was supposed to be set, and then I had it and I was like, this is not the hype. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I was very excited to try it because chocolate and strawberries, you really can't lose with that. But if it's the recipe I'm recalling, it didn't go as well as I'd hoped.
Was it not sweet, or was it just...
I think it ended up being a texture thing.
Okay.
What it came down to. If it's the one I'm remembering that I think I had to freeze it, then that didn't work for me. It didn't work for me.
I've seen so many TikTok videos of like boiling eggs, and then every time you go to peel an egg, it always rips. And then there's all these TikTok videos out there saying, do this, do that, do this, and you'll have perfect eggs. Never happens.
Lies.
I'm like,
it's all
these
lies.
Are liars. So Sam's actually sells hard-boiled eggs already peeled in a bag. So
it's almost worth it at this point, because I don't care. The gimmicks, the steps, they don't work. So I think I'm going to have to get a Sam's card at this point.
Yeah. Well, you have an amazing story. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself to our crowd and let us know a little bit about yourself and your story and how you got into music.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I apologize if you get some shaking. I have a 22-week-old, there it is, a 22-week-old puppy who I had a couple of choices. I could keep him in the crate, which he'd bark, or I could let him out and try to get him to calm down. And we're going with the latter, and I apologize for the shaking if it happens. But yes, my story. I am the middle of 3 girls. I'm a pastor's kid. My dad was also an Army chaplain. So I was raised kind of all over the world and, in the church. And so I kind of found my relationship with God when I was in high school, and then started a real relationship when I went off to college. So I've had quite a few ups and downs, lots and lots of surgeries. And then in my adult life, I started a career in higher education, and I kind of fell into it, and I hadn't really made my way out. But all the while, like I would be on the worship team at church. I would write poems or songs in my house and just kind of leave them in my house. And that was really it. But my heart said that I wanted to do music, but I didn't know how to do it. And I wasn't confident. I'm still working on the confidence. So over the last couple of years, I found Nashville Christian Songwriters and John Chisholm, and started doing the work and the homework, finding the steps, and came to it and started really doing music seriously. And it's awkward to say, I'm an artist. The words feel weird in my mouth. But I'm pursuing it, and I'm really hoping that with this new lease on life, with this second chance at life, and with saying yes as often as possible, that this is something that's going to touch people, that the songs are going to breathe new life into them, and that my story will be an encouragement to those who are going through similar things.
Yeah. When you were having your surgeries and going through those trials, what were some of the songs, some of the things that you would listen to that would get you through those moments?
So I have a huge love for Jamie Smith, and a lot of people don't know who she is or hadn't really listened to much of her music, but it's just very real and conversational, just a conversation with God and just an expression of what you're feeling and who you are. And so that definitely would be encouraging and uplifting. I'm also, I like Project 86 and Red. So, if you're having one of those days and you just have to power through, sometimes being able to kind of scream that declaration. Sometimes you just need to take it from a deep place,
So I'm gonna
and those
cut you off for
songs.
a second. So your style, I've listened to your stuff. It is not Project 86 or Red or Skillet. You might. I'm just saying you might want to go to one of those rage places and
Yes, yes, indeed,
and listen
indeed,
to
yes.
Red as you do it.
I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't think that I haven't, found ways to be like, oh, I need to chop some wood. And also, Project 86. Like, I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, when I was in those times, and of course, he would pick this, Archie, come here. When I was in those times and trying to figure out, what's going to soothe my soul, what's going to put me in a place where either I can find a heart of worship or just where I can kind of be out of the moment of what I'm dealing with. Yeah, whether it was like a worshipful moment or something a little bit harder, there's always something. There's always, and if I really just needed to feel some nostalgia, I'd whip out, my original DC Talk CDs and I'd get in my car because I have a CD player in there and I'd just start singing Jesus is still all right with me. And that'll do it too. 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned DC Talk, but yeah, those were some of the bands I grew up listening to. I mean, my library when it comes to music is everything. I mean, there's not a genre I don't really care for. And so, yeah, I mean, my son is like, Dad, how can you? Because I have like a multiple playlist on my
Oh,
Spotify, and
yeah.
he's like, how can you listen to like a Skillet song and then have Brandon Lake next, and then Toby Mac, and then go into like Need to Breathe, and just all different types of music. And I'm like,
Yes.
hey, I love it. I mean, I can listen to any kind of genre.
It all hits a different place in your soul. Like each one of those things strikes a different chord in a different way. So you need them all.
Yeah, yeah. So I got introduced to you. We have a church that we actually both went to up in Indiana, and some friends that were telling me about your music. And I looked you up and started listening, and I was like, man, she's really good. And then you came out with this amazing song a few weeks ago, probably a month ago, maybe, Simple. And when I heard it, I was like, wow. And it is an incredible song. Do you mind telling us about that song, your latest single?
Not at all. Simple is very near and dear to my heart because I am Miss color coded, tabs on everything, Excel spreadsheet. If I'm going to take a trip, I need a plan A, B, and C. If I'm talking about my relationship with God, it's like, okay, well, if I only have 15 minutes, then I have to do this type of study. And if I have an hour, then I can grab the concordance. And I make things so complicated thinking that it's going to make things move more smoothly or that I'll feel safer because I have a plan, and it's unrealistic. And so when thinking about this song and thinking about how topsy turvy my life has been for the last, honestly, 3 to 10 years, it's been wild. And I've done everything I could to control it or to organize it, to have a plan. And more recently, it's just kind of been God telling me that I just need to say yes to things. I'm going to put things in your path and I need you to say yes to them. Not how, not make a plan, not run the numbers, but it's simple. It's simple. Just say yes. And we'll work it out as we're walking because I've got a plan and you don't need to know all the things. And if you did, it would scare you. So let's just make it simple. And so we started working on, I think it was just a couple of lines that kind of came together and they were like, yes, one of my favorite parts is I make plans on plans. And that's one of the lines in the song is that I make plans on plans, thinking that I'm actually going to control it. And I'm not. So it all comes down to just being simple. And I wanted that reminder for other people because I know I'm not the only one that's like that. And I know this world makes us feel like we have to have, a side hustle and an identity and all these things. And that bleeds over into our walk with Christ, and it shouldn't. So I just really wanted this to be a reminder for my brothers and sisters in Christ and for those who haven't come yet that it is just that simple.
Yeah, and we love as Christians to try to do everything on our own. You talked about it just a minute ago. We like to try to figure it out on our own, and boy, we learn the hard way sometimes,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's that's something that we all go through, and we when we give it to the Lord and then we pick it back up. A month down the road, we're like, well, what am I doing? I just gave it to the Lord, and here I am trying to do it
Mhm.
again.
Every time. I just want to check the other side of it and make sure that you're still working on it. Oh, yes. Hmm. For sure.
Well, we actually had a fan write in a question for you. This is
Mhm.
a fan based podcast, if you didn't know. And so we will have listeners all the time writing questions to people. And we had a fan of yours. Her name is Brittany from St. Louis. And she wants to know the story behind your song, You're the One.
Okay. The story behind You're the One. Okay. So I think how I would sum it up is we've all had our own share of heartache and heartbreak, and that doesn't have to be from a romantic relationship. That can be some turmoil that came from parents or siblings or best friends or supervisors. Like, heartache comes in all forms, and I have I have had my share. And I was having kind of a down moment where I was thinking, I'm getting older and I'm single, and I've had a marriage that dissolved, and there are times where you feel that no one kind of wants you. No one's actually going to be there for you. No one's going to give what you're willing to give, and you're just not going to get that. And I was kind of pinning that down, and God was just reminding me that, he's always longed for a relationship with me. Even, before I was formed in the womb, he knew me, and he wanted a relationship with me, and he wanted to encourage me and support me and see me do good and huge and wonderful things in his name for the kingdom. And that's pretty much where that song came from. Was even in the times where I'm feeling down, I wanted something that I could sing where I could remind myself, when the world is lying to me, when the old situations in my life come back to mind in the present, and make me feel like there's no end in sight. It's just a reminder that he is the one, that he does long for me. He wants me, and he should be my focus.
Yeah. So when you're writing that song and, like Simple, how does that process work for you? Is it different each song? We talk to a lot of artists, and it looks different for everybody. Maybe voice memos and
Hmm.
writing
Hmm.
down notes all the time, waking up in the middle of the night with a jingle in their head. And so,
That's true.
how does that work for you?
Yeah, so I think I started more, as a young person, writing poetry. So I just have notebooks filled of things that I just brain dumped, or poems that were kind of fully formed. And then I sang, but I didn't really write my own music. So that's come much later in life, just in the last handful of years, where I would write melodies that were my own. But one of the big things for me, I am such a nerd, and I love formulas. I love templates. Like, give me something that I can mold something after and to develop into something that is palatable. And so when I decided to say full on yes, and I know it sounds odd, but I had a near death or a death experience. When I came back and I was like, I'm going to start saying yes, I was looking for a template. So I found Nashville Christian Songwriters, because they have this class called Pro Song Mastery. And in this class, they give you this like a songwriter's outline template thing. And so that helped me, literally. How do these lines work together? How does it refer back from the chorus? Where does a pre-chorus, if you need one, where does that fit in, etc.? So that formula really helped me. However, when it's just a random Tuesday and I'm just, feeling some words really hit my spirit, it's really just get everything down, and then I highlight the things that are the strongest and make sense, and then I say, okay, that's where I want this song to go. That's what I want the focus to be. And then I just start digging into sounds, and then the same thing. Once a sound hits and it's like, oh, that really matches, then I try to build off of what I landed on that made sense.
Sure. Yeah, you talk about your your near death experience, and just how you just everything changed since then. And I myself, I was thinking about it when you were saying that in 2021 I was in the hospital for 2 weeks with COVID, and
Ooh.
almost was, it almost killed me, and it was pretty bad. And they were about to put me on a vent, and man, I just pushed to not do that and to just breathe. Really, and I'll never ever take for granted just breathing, and it's crazy, but I couldn't take a deep breath. I could not breathe, and when I got out, that's when we started this podcast, and then I just went full force into everything in
Nice.
the music world, and I said, I'm not going to wait around any longer.
No.
I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, that was something like you went through, and I can,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
It changes everything.
yeah, it
Really does.
does. It really does. Yeah. So with our first time guests, we like to do a little thing called favorite things. And so I will give you a word, and you just tell me your favorite thing in that category. Sound good?
Sounds good. Oh, the child is really trying to kill me today. Yes, let's do some favorite
All
things.
right, let's do this. First one, what is your favorite food?
Um, Asian foods. I love lots and lots of Asian foods.
Okay. Like sushi or just it all?
I mean, I'll do dim sum and dumplings. I'll do sushi. I'll do anything with noodles. I'll do pho. I love some pho.
Yeah.
So Asian food, yes.
Yeah. What about a favorite movie?
Favorite. I remember when I was young, I must have watched The Mummy like 72,000 times. And it became one of those feel good, like you're homesick and you need to put something on the TV, and The Mummy just, I don't know why. I love Indiana Jones movies as well. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
like adventure things.
Okay. What about favorite show?
Ooh, favorite show. I don't know. I haven't been really good with shows lately. I love NCIS like from the original times.
Yeah.
So that yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about a favorite musical artist of all time?
That's mean. Yeah, that's mean. I don't like that. Favorite of all
If you
time.
had the money to do just to see them, you would just pay any amount of money.
Really? Archie. Really? Come here. Come here. Pay any amount of money to see them. Favorite of all time. I mean, if DC Talk would get back together.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but yeah.
Oh, blast. Okay.
I
Well,
did see him on the cruise though. That was awesome.
oh man. Yeah, that's probably really good. I don't know. It's too vast of a question. Let's go with oh my gosh, of all time. I can't do it. I can't. For right now, okay, for right now, I'm listening to a lot of Anatoria. So I don't know if that's all time, but definitely that's popping up like every fifth song in my randomizer right now. That's what I'm going to go with right now.
Right. Okay. This next one might be a harder one.
Ah,
Dream duet.
dream duet. Uh, wow. I think these questions are meant to be harmful instead of helpful. But maybe just for your own entertainment. Dream duet. Okay, so if I were doing worship, I think I would go with Corey Asbury for worship. But I think it would be so fun to sing with like Red or Viridia, like just to go, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You got any screamo in you?
I think I do. I think it's in there on the right day. I think it's in there. Yeah.
What about a favorite ice cream flavor?
The seasonal one that's peppermint, so not just like mint, but like peppermint. Yeah.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you like it with chocolate or just
No.
peppermint?
Just peppermint. I want it to burn everything inside of my head with the minty goodness. Yeah,
And then drink water afterwards because water tastes so good when you drink peppermint or eat peppermint.
exactly.
What is your favorite podcast that you listen to?
I'll be honest, I'm not real huge with podcasts. I do a lot of books more than podcasts, but I do like listening to Craig Groeschel has a podcast, and that one really feeds me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And besides Christian music, guys, I mean, that's.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's a given. I didn't even need to say it.
Come on, Anya, you filled that one. Well, you passed except for the last question. No.
It's true. I did. Should have known better.
What is next for you, and how can our viewers and listeners keep up with you?
Yeah, what's next? So, I have another song that we are putting the final bows on as we speak, and that will be coming out May 2nd. Very, very excited for that one. It takes a slightly different turn from what people might be expecting from me, which I love. But I think it is going to be a great song for summer to roll down the windows, unless you're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I am, where it's probably still going to be snowing on May 2nd. It's a great song to play in the car while you're on a road trip or right after graduation or school lets out and you're just ready to jam out. So I'm very excited for that coming up. We're working on more music. We're looking for more places for me to get out there and share it, hopefully live with folks. And obviously going to the We Love Awards there in Franklin very, very soon. So that's what we got coming up, and some new merch in the store.
Yeah. Well, what's your socials and website?
Yeah, everything right now should be It's Me, Anya Lee. For my website, it's still Worship Anya Mind because it's punny. Worship Anya Mind.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird how many people don't get it until I say it a couple times. But everything else is It's Me, Anya Lee. You can find me on all the platforms with that.
Great. Well, to wrap up, I'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and listeners' faith.
Okay. Other than giving me the confidence after I say yes, when I say yes. I think we sometimes think that we have to build up the confidence first to say yes. And God's been making it very evident that you say yes and I will help you rise to the challenge. You know, like it's the confidence comes. But aside from that, I've been working really hard on finding those moments to be grateful, and God has been faithful to bring them to mind. Work can be stressful, life can be hard, health things pop up, and it just seems like a lot of stuff is challenging and dark. But God has been amazing to be like, look, here, I'm shining a light on something for you to celebrate and be grateful for. And then being faithful to thank Him and to kind of dwell in that grateful moment. That's really, it's been edifying, it's been empowering, and it's been reminding me of all the, front row parking. Like, thank you. That's huge. Slipping and sliding on the roads in this snow, but nobody being around on the road. Thank you. And then just, the small things that we forget, that's a moment of gratitude. And the more we express it, the more we realize that God is in every single moment, in every single aspect, and He's working for our good. So, yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, Anya, thank you so much for chatting with me. Simple, your brand new single is out. Catch her on tour with Red and Project 86.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.